Please welcome Catherine Zepeda Romero.
Hi, everyone. My name is Catherine Zepeda Romero, and I'm a fifth year majoring in mechanical engineering at The Ohio State University. And I'm also the former president for the Ohio State University CHIP chapter. So in this presentation, we'll be covering the chapter management tool, also known as the CMT. And the agenda for this presentation is we'll go through an introduction, the structure of the CMT, planning for chapter success, and the conclusion. So what is the CMT? So the CMT, or the chapter management tool, is a tool utilized for planning, coordinating, implementing, and documenting chapter activities. And the purpose of this document is to basically align ourselves with our mission, allow for support and recognition at a national level, and then just effective management overall. So diving into that, when we're looking at our mission alignment, does our chapter activities and goals align overall with the mission and vision of CHIP? And is there consistency with the overall organizational values? When we're looking at support and recognition, are there resources and tools offered to support chapter development and management, as well as recognition to celebrate and reward chapter achievements? And then just effective management as well. So providing the tools and guidelines to run effective programs and meetings, as well as a method to ensure efficient operations. So diving into the structure of the CMT, the first portion, or the CMT actually overall has three sections. First portion being the executive information, a SWOT workshop, and the chapter schedule, which we'll dive into in the following slides. So the first section is very straightforward. So that is our executive information from advisor name, bylaw links, social media platforms. So if you're using Facebook, Instagram, as well as TikTok or any other social media platform to add on there, a chapter website, a chapter wellness assessment that is already tagged in there, and then just describing or plugging in the executive board positions from president to professional development, and any positions overall in there. So this section is very straightforward, and we won't really dive into this throughout this presentation. Our next section is the SWOT analysis. So the SWOT analysis, for those of you that don't know, is an analysis done on strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So it's just a tool used to identify and evaluate our internal factors and our external factors. So our internal factors being strengths and weaknesses, and external factors being opportunities and threats that are affecting the organization. For this, I would recommend considering various factors such as university resources, economic factors such as the sponsorship packets that you guys have, networking opportunities that is either provided through the university itself or through external organizations that are not on campus, as well as just overall other organizations, as I mentioned, whether they're on campus or off campus. So when we're looking at the SWOT analysis, we want to break it down and ask questions in each of the four topics. So for the first part, for strengths, we want to ask questions of what do we do well, what's unique about our chapter, and what factors lead to our success. Our weaknesses, we want to be asking what could be improved, what disadvantages do we have, what resources could improve our performance. Then we're looking at our opportunities. Are there any potential members or customer gaps in our offerings? What are our goals in this year? Any new members to collaborate or communicate with our members, or any new ways? As for our threats, are there any major changes that can affect us? What obstacles do you face? And what are other orgs doing / offering? From the SWOT analysis, we actually want to consider our 5 pillars in this. So our academic, chapter development, leadership, community service, and professional development. And in this part, I recommend at least doing a minimum of one SWOT analysis for each of these pillars for each of these pillars, as they will benefit you in the long run for the next academic year. Another portion found in the CMT are our SMART objectives. So this is something that we won't cover too heavily, as it's something that we do so often. But just to reiterate, S is specific, so the goal is concrete and tangible. M is measurable. The goal has an objective measure of success. A is achievable. The goal is challenging but achievable. R is relevant. The goal contributes to the overall mission. In T, it's time-bound. The goal has a deadline or timeline of progress. And I will show an example of this later on in the slides. So when we're looking at the SWOT workshop tab within our CMT, we have 3 sectors. One where we're looking at the previous year, one looking at the SWOT analysis, and one looking at the upcoming year. So going forward, we start first with our previous year. So pulling whatever objectives we had from the previous year and what the outcome of those objectives were. So this is an example that I pulled from the Ohio State University chapter, where our SMART objective was to host at least 3 mentoring and community building events for college freshmen and new graduate students each year for the 2022-2023 year. And the outcome for that was that we hosted various events ranging from academic study tables, mentorship reveal, trivia night, and develop various undergrad professionally and academically. Once we know this information, we want to go forward and do our SWOT analysis. So since we focused on academic in the last portion, we're going to continue focusing on academic and just do that SWOT analysis for our for academic. So our strengths in this would be the fact that we have access to ACE tutoring. We provide midterm and biweekly study tables, supplemental instruction tutoring, and we provide studying resources through our test banks. As for our weakness comes to our attendance for these biweekly study tables, and we lack in a method in collecting study resources from our members for the test bank. As for our opportunity, we know that we could connect with the DEI office and the College of Engineering to provide academic success coaches, resources to improve studying methods, access to tutoring, academic program opportunities for students to accelerate in classes. As for our threats, it usually comes to location and timing of events that influence these members. So there's always that difficulty to provide the best timing for our members, but also looking at what we are providing as we lack in potential presentations to guide students for academic growth. So this is just for a way to break down our SWOT analysis. And this is just an example for academic, but we want to do this for at least all of the 5 pillars that was shown in the previous slide. Once we have that information, we want to come up with a SMART objective for this upcoming semester. So knowing what we have from our previous year and analyzing our environment and the academic aspect, our chapter came up with 1 academic objective, which was to build 2 academic workshops per semester in the academic year. And I broke that down as well in the SMART portion. So for the specific, we want to facilitate 2 regular academic workshops where we want to cover topics such as time management and study strategies. For measurable, we want to track these workshop attendance and assess the effectiveness of each workshop. Achievable would be through planning and scheduling these workshops to promote within the chapter. Relevance, as it's enhancing our members' academic skills, and it is a pillar to SHIP National. And then time bound is we would want to host at least 2 workshops per semester in the academic year, which is very doable for the amount of members that we have part of eBoard. So knowing this information and knowing that we've built up our SWOT workshop, we go on to our chapter schedule. And this as well is also broken down into 3 portions. So chapter strategies, where we look at SMART objective, the pillar that it hits, activity name, date of event, intended audience, intended matrix, and the outcome. Organizing finances and collaboration, where we look at the action items, lead organizer, location, plan budget, final costs, and then anyone that we've collaborated with for that event. And documentation and continuous development, so the event history, description, summary, and lessons learned. So I've provided an example for each of these, but from the previous slide, we're pulling that first SMART objective that we had, which was the 2 academic workshops per semester in the academic year. And we know that that objective hits our recruitment goal, in which we want to promote and provide mentorship, academic skills, and career opportunities to undergrads and grads. So once we know that SMART objective and we carry it over to our chapter schedule, we go ahead with planning our events for the academic year. So this is one of the events that we had planned for the previous year, where it hits that SMART objective 1. The program is for the academic development, our activity name, our study tables, and this event occurs from September 13th to December 7th. And it is intended to approach undergrads and grad students with the intended matrix of 20 students, where our final outcome for the event was 25, where we've also separated it of how many of those were men and women. But you can separate it in any way you'd like, whether it's men and women or undergrad and grad. Moving forward, and this is something that will be done once the event is on the way as well as occurring, whether like it would be very close to the timeline of when this event is occurring. So action items, if you need to like buy any food, or if there are people that you need to reach out for, if you're collaborating, which in this instance, it was with NSBE. Who was leading this event? Where was the event located? What was our planned budget? And then as shown there, what was the final cost of that event? And then you finalize with documentation and continuous development. So you look at the event history. So has this occurred in the past? And how has it happened in the past, basically? Just referencing how that event really went in the past. So the signature biweekly meetings has been something that SHIP OSU has done for years. So it was just a way to keep members engaged and build a sense of belonging while also tracking and enhancing academic performance. Then we provide an event description. So this could be whether you're presenting something of time management, study skills, or it's an event that in this instance was for students to connect and help each other out and share academic interests as well as personal life information. And then just an event summary of what happened, were people engaged, what the attendance was like, anything that really caught your eye as the organizer in this event. And then lessons learned. So for example, with this one, we collaborated with NSBE. So at the end, we noticed that collaborating with bigger organizations is very helpful because more people get to know our chapter, and it provides more people to come and learn more aside from NSBE itself. So just to highlight this section, looking at the executive summary or executive information, we covered essential details about the chapter's leadership, and it's just a section that understands the roles and structure within the chapter. We also did the SWOT analysis, so identifying strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, as well as strategic planning and continuous improvement. SMART objectives, so specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals, and having clear, attainable targets for chapter activities. Our SWOT workshop, which is analyzing the chapter's current status, and then develop strategies on SWOT findings for better outcomes. And all of that will lead into our chapter schedule, which is just organizing and planning these events and activities for the semester, as well as well-coordinated chapter operation. So after knowing that, we're looking at planning for chapter success. So from analyzing our environment, analyzing internally and externally, we just want to understand the overall member value proposition. And we know that through the SWOT analysis, we identify areas in which there's been growth or needs for improvements. We also just get a deeper understanding of what is being offered and how that can be enhanced for member satisfaction. And then we also discover different strategic opportunities to enhance member satisfaction. Knowing that, we also plan for chapter success. So we want to run effective meetings. That being said, through the CMT, we are able to provide clear goals and agendas, time management, active participation, follow-up, skill development, and community building. So all of this will aim to our members being successful in the way that it helps participants prepare and engage effectively. We also respect members' schedules, and through this, we maximize the productivity of each event. We foster a sense of belonging and investment in outcomes. We provide feedback and support for members, offer growth opportunities through structured programs, and we allow them to have an environment in which they can build relationships and networks and strengthen those amongst each member. So overall, our best practices for the CMT, we want to fill out those CMTs very early on in the summer, especially the executive information and the SWOT analysis, as well as if you already have ideas of when some events are occurring, but you don't know the date, also feel free to put those down, as that will also be very beneficial when you're already in your academic years. We also want to do regularly updates on the document just to have that continuous improvement for the chapter. You want to set those SMART objectives to monitor progress and adjust strategies as needed. Organize and plan event ideas prior to the semester and chapter schedule. And we also want to regularly collect feedback to improve the CMT. So in conclusion, and some key takeaways, the CMT is designed to align chapters with the organization's mission, and the SWOT analysis is a very powerful tool to use because it allows you to understand member value proposition. It allows you to identify areas that need improvement and identify a successful strategy to grow the chapter. We also want to use those SMART goals for recruitment, retention, and member development, and conduct those regular assessments and be consistent with documentation and updates to the CMT. And as I've mentioned, utilize the summer to prepare at most 80% of the CMT. So getting those executive information, SWOT analysis, and even some ideas for your chapter schedule prepared before the academic year starts. So just to put it into practice, begin by doing a SWOT analysis for skills, events, and programs offered to member success within your organization. And choose one pillar from the following 5. So it could either be academic, chapter development, leadership, community service, and professional development. And with that, I say thank you for joining me today. And join me live during the CCLP to answer any questions you guys have. Thank you.